Chris Broussard, joining us this morning. Chris, your biggest takeaway from the win?
Well, I had several, but the biggest was definitely Anthony Davis. And not what he did in the first three quarters. He's been great the first three quarters all year. It was what he did in the fourth quarter. You guys know I've been saying all season, he is going to have to be huge in the fourth quarter, especially against the Clippers. And Skip even gave him the nickname All Done because he hasn't been delivering in the fourth quarters. It's as simple as that. Up until like the last month before the shutdown, he was averaging 3 points a game in the fourth quarters. So I liked what I saw last night. 8 points, all of it in the last 4 minutes, and 6 of them in the last 43 seconds. And what I really liked was his attitude. He was not deferring to LeBron. He wasn't saying, hey, LeBron, you go do it. I'm the second guy. He was taking the shots that he wanted to take. And I like that. That is what the Lakers are going to need if indeed they're going to beat the Clippers and win the championship. If you look at LeBron James's history, when he has been at his best, when he's won his 3 titles, his second guy is a dog. It was Dwayne Wade at first. Then it was Kyrie Irving. That he needs a second guy that has that attitude. And there are those around the league that question Anthony Davis whether he has that. You know, some just flat out think he's a little bit soft in that regard. And so he has to go out and prove that he has it. If he does, look, the Lakers will undoubtedly be tough to beat. And the question is, can he do it against the Clippers, though? And that's what I want to see.
Of course he can. I thought last night what it was, the biggest thing, what I saw, Chris, is that not only did they make a conscious effort to get him the ball, he made a conscious effort. It's like, I'm not waiting for the double team. I'm going to do something with this ball. I'm going to get these shots up because he had 7 attempts on Saturday night. He had 14 at the end of the first quarter. So it told you he's going to be extremely aggressive. He saw the ball. And hold on, Chris, did you vote Rudy Gobert Defensive Player of the Year again? Because that's who he did that 42. Well, the two-time Defensive Player of the Year. He put a Jackie Robinson number on it, 42, 12, and 4. That's what he did to him. The French pastry chef, Rudy Gobert, made a mess of him. Call him Grey Poupon now. Everywhere, Chris Broussard. That's what we did to him. LeBron James said, you know what, AD? I want you to go ahead and take this thing because my time going to come. I'm going to show y'all a little something because I know Skip Bayless watching. Here's this, the fourth quarter. Hit one from the timeline, hit one a little close in, go through the lane, hang in the air, drop that one, put a quick 10 spot on him. I'm done with it. AD, take back over. So I like where we are right now. I like what I saw with AD because that AD train was, ooh, we left the station with the number 1 seed.
So, Chris Broussard, I have a stat for you that sums up what we saw last night. Would you believe that in 4 fourth quarters against the Clippers this year, Anthony Davis has taken a grand total of 9 shots? He's only attempted 2 free throws against the Clippers all year. 2 free throws in 4 fourth quarters. Last night in the first quarter, he shot it 14 times. And I agree, something happened. He just said, okay, enough of that. My issue is, let's keep it in perspective because the Lakers just own the Jazz mentally. They're not afraid of them. They like to front run on them. They're not afraid of Rudy. They're not. They beat them handily all 3 times this year. Bogdanovich had wrist surgery back in May, so he was lost, obviously, for the restart. He was by far their best second option scorer because he was their best 3-point shooter. He was making 40 or bust. Last night, they tried to make Jordan Clarkson the second scorer, and he was actually the Lakers' unsung MVP as he went 2 for 13 from the field. So the point is, Anthony Davis was the monster that everybody thinks he could be. But last night against a team that they just have zero fear against, he just made a mockery of the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year because Rudy Gobert cannot stay with him. He can't guard him outside. He really couldn't guard him inside. He just had him on skates the whole night, and they were cement skates because Rudy Gobert's foot speed is less than mine for sure. So again, I'm not that impressed with the opposition last night, but I was impressed with the takeover mentality. And Chris, to finish off your point, I had a bet with Shannon Sharpe for yet another case of Diet Dew, and I had 6.5 points. And the man who stopped me cold, I should have won it, but the man who saved LeBron and saved Shannon Sharpe last night was Anthony Davis down the stretch. He closed the game just the way he opened the game. So I say congratulations for one night against the Utah Jazz.
I bet you, Skip, he saw the all done clip and
Maybe.
said, all right, I'm not letting Skip win this bet.
Okay,
Good.
But
maybe.
Another takeaway was LeBron, because obviously, he hadn't started out that great in the bubble. He had the fourth quarter, obviously, against the Clippers. But the first 3 quarters, he was passive. And I'm really thinking he's kind of coasting to get himself into shape and getting his other players, mainly AD, but all of them, involved and in a rhythm, thinking that come fourth quarter, they'll be in a rhythm. I know I can turn it up, which he's done the last few games, but I know I can turn it up. Let me get these guys ready so they'll be ready to hit these shots in the fourth quarter as well. And look, I like the fact that LeBron, I think he's taking a page out of Michael Jordan's book and creating this narrative of no one thought I could do it in the West. All right. I think it's revisionist history, but he's creating this narrative and using it for motivation. Nobody thought I could do it in the West. I like that, but I don't know that there's anybody that ever would have said LeBron James and Anthony Davis in his prime could not have been a great team in the West. So I think it's some revisionist history, but I'm with it if LeBron wants to use it for motivation.
I got to ask Chris real quick. Time out. Chris, didn't even you say the other day on this show that it's starting to look like the East is rivaling the West? Didn't you say the West is no longer the absolute obvious best?
Yeah, I think the Clippers and the Lakers are the 2 best teams, but look, the East is much closer. Milwaukee's obviously legit. Toronto's legit. I think Miami's legit. Philadelphia has the talent. They're not mature enough yet. So
Boston.
The East has definitely gotten better. And like you said, Skip, outside of the Clippers, the Lakers, and if you want to throw the Rockets in there, the rest of the West is good, but not definitively better than the East.
Man, look here. The West go deep. You got both of the LA teams. You got
It's
the Rockets.
deeper for sure.
You got the Rockets. You got the Nuggets. You got even Portland. Man, that dynamic duo go cook.
Portland.
If Portland was in the East, they'd be the 2 seed at the worst.
Oh, God.
They'd be the 2 seed at the worst.
You don't believe that.
With the worst.
You
At the
don't
worst.
believe that.
At the worst. Hold on, Chris. Now, you told me, you said that the Clippers were going to have the best record. You told everybody kept saying the Clippers were going to have the best record in the West.
Well, I don't think LeBron should start, and I'm not saying he is, but celebrating yet. Okay, the first seed isn't a big deal. It's about winning the championship.
Yes.
That's when he'll silence the naysayers. It won't be by getting the first seed. So I don't think the Clippers cared about the number 1 seed. Obviously, they didn't. They had guys in and out of the lineup all season.
Well, then why they try to gear up against?
LeBron knows that the first seed isn't the number 1 thing.
We don't care about no seed anyway. Yeah, we come out the East in the 4th seed. I told you, LeBron say mustard seed. Just have faith. Plant me in the ground, and we go get a title. That's how we do things, Chris Broussard. But you think, Chris, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to play both sides of the fence. You like, yeah, I know he was good, but you didn't see this. Because you didn't have him. You had him at 49 games. They in the 50s.
When did I ever? I knew they win. I said, I think about 53.
I have him at my
Skip
team.
knows I am not a LeBron hater by any stretch. I mean, I've always defended LeBron, but I'm objective. And I think the Clippers are the better team. That is it. My heart would be with LeBron, but my head is with the Clippers.
Well, sometimes you got to go with the heart.
All right, we'll see.
So I have one final question here. Are we sure LeBron James is the best player on the Lakers?
There you go.
I'm not sure about that. Are we sure?
Big whatever.
Are we looking at those numbers? Leading scorer on the Laker, Anthony Davis. Leading rebounder, obviously Anthony Davis. Leading free throw shooter, it's not even close. Anthony Davis. Leading PER, 3rd in the league is Anthony Davis. LeBron is 10th. Are you sure we shouldn't be making a stronger MVP case for Anthony Davis?
Chris, you see what he tried to do. You know him a lot longer than I have, but you know exactly what he tried to do.
I'm just trying to spit facts.
LeBron is clearly the best player. Skip, you know it. You talked about it earlier, the fourth quarters. LeBron's one of the leading fourth quarter scorers in the league. AD hasn't been there until last night. So LeBron is the best. But here's the thing. If at some point, maybe even next year, AD will become the best player.
He needs to.
LeBron will still be a top 5, top 10 player in the league. And they could still potentially win championships if AD will take that mantle and get that dog in him. That's what we're watching for.
And we about to add a third piece. I ain't going to tell you who it is, but we got something brewing this offseason.
I don't even care about that. I just wonder if Anthony Davis can wake up one morning and say, I've got that dog in me. I don't think you can just suddenly say.
AD, all you do is just stand up out of bed and say, I'm Anthony Davis. That's good enough for me because I know what you're going to give me. See, don't let Skip know all that dog. All the people that talk about the dog ain't doing nothing. It's the dog that don't say anything that bites you.
Well, all dog or is it all done? That's what I
Okay,
ask.
you're going to find out when they play the Clippers.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.